Warriors trade incoming. The Dubs are rumored to be looking to add Kristaps Porzingis this offseason, and there's a ton of controversy surrounding Kristaps after the Celtics were eliminated last night. Is this move insane? You tell me, because Mike Dunleavy has his work cut out for him. But does Porzingis solve the Warriors' problem? Well, in today's video, we'll break down the trade reports, how it affects Jonathan Kuminga, and analyze how Kristaps Porzingis would potentially fit into the Warriors. First, I need you to hit subscribe, though. Myself, Arthur Ballesteros, and Randy Silver of Warriors Digest. We're working hard bringing you these videos in the offseason as the Warriors look to potentially retool this lineup and this roster. So hit subscribe. It really helps the channel. And so you don't miss out on anything, because these are the rumors flying around right now from Brett Siegel. He's an NBA insider with Clutch Points. He says that several names are already appearing as possible free agent and trade targets for the Warriors this offseason. Brook Lopez, Kristaps Porzingis, Caris LeVert, and Bruce Brown. Now, we did a breakdown on Brook Lopez and his potential fit. That's why you subscribe to Warriors Digest, so you don't miss a thing. You can check out that video. I break down everything around Brook Lopez. Actually makes a lot of sense. But does Kristaps Porzingis make sense here? Because there's a lot of headlines going around that the Celtics are going to have to go into fire mode sale this offseason. Obviously, the Jason Tatum injury changes everything for them. They are a second apron salary cap team, so they are just riddled with bad contracts they are looking to get out from under. But Kristaps Porzingis is interesting here. When we look at his stats over the last year, he averaged 19.5 points a game, almost 7 boards a game. But this is your stretch big. This is a guy that Steve Kerr would love to have on this lineup. At 7'2", he shoots his threes at about 41%. And I'm not talking about taking like 1 or 2 threes a game. He put up 6 threes a game this year for the Celtics, hit 2.5 of them, and he has deep elite range. I'm talking 30+ feet he can knock them down from. But there's a ton of controversy around him right now because he did not show up at all in the playoffs here. You see regular season average 19.5 points a game. In the playoffs, only averaging 8.9. And in the series against the Knicks, really fell apart. Was that his fault? There's a lot of questions going around. Actually, a question about whether or not he is suffering from the effects of long COVID. He actually had to be pulled out of not last night's game, but the game before. He keeps being listed on the injury report of having, just being listed as having an illness. Extreme fatigue symptoms. Also, seems like this has been going on for months with Porzingis. They haven't officially said that this is symptoms of long COVID, but there is a lot of speculation from Shams. Reports are coming out from doctors tied to the Celtics as well. So could be a potential huge red flag here, as there just isn't enough research to show how this may potentially affect NBA players in the long term. And that's not his only injury concern. As you see, he did miss a number of games this year, including a foot surgery that he had at the beginning of the season. He missed 17 games because of that. But then, as you see, actually, it's not as scary as it may look, other than the illness popping up. But he doesn't miss long stretches outside of, getting surgeries and things like that. But a lot of these games, he was missing one, maybe a couple at a time here. But the illness thing is a big red flag. You see it pop up on the injury report here multiple times throughout the season, going all the way back to January, where he first started missing games because of the illness. And it definitely affected him during the playoffs this year. So is this a smart move? Well, Porzingis, he is a baller. This guy kind of fits everything that the Warriors are looking for. When you look at his efficiency here, just as a player, overall shooting gets rated an A. He's just somebody who really fits the offensive scheme for the Warriors. High basketball IQ. Also, when you look at his interior defense here, top-notch marks on the interior defense. He's still almost averaging a couple of blocks a game, just your elite rim protector there. Not quite as mobile as maybe he used to be here, but also a low usage player. You looked at how Kuminga was somebody who had to have the ball in his hands a lot. Now, obviously, they play very different positions here, but he only needs the ball in his hands about 7% of the time when he's on the court in order to be efficient offensively here. And he's really good at making quick decisions. A lot of this information you can find at B-Ball Index, kind of looking in depth at some of the advanced stats and how players may fit into the Warriors system. High grades all around for Kristaps Porzingis. But how would this work as an actual deal? So this would have to be a trade here. He is still signed for the upcoming 2025-2026 season at a cap hit of about $30 million. Now, this is something I put together here as a potential deal that could be worked out. It doesn't work quite on paper because of the Boston Celtics salary cap nightmare. Because they're a second apron team, they're a lot more limited in what they can do with trades. So even if you did a sign and trade with Kuminga and you gave him that $30 million around that range that he's potentially looking for, on paper it makes sense. You can do a 30 for 30 swap with Porzingis. But the second apron makes this way more complicated here, and the financial end of it actually doesn't work out as a straight swap. Would the Celtics even consider this? Because this doesn't necessarily rid them of their financial problems. I mean, I think to them right now, Porzingis on an expiring deal is more valuable to them than Kuminga on a new 4-year sign and trade deal. When, where do you put him in the lineup there? I get with Tatum out, he could be an interesting replacement there, but very different player than Tatum. But also, what do you do once he does come back and you've got Tatum, Kuminga, and Jaylen Brown there? Just doesn't make sense. I don't think that this is the pathway for the Warriors to get Porzingis. Do they have enough talent to trade otherwise? I don't know, because his value could be extremely low right now with this lingering issue with the illness. Potential long COVID could scare off a lot of suitors, and especially seeing how poorly he played in the playoffs. He was just gasping for breath and had to be pulled out of a lot of these games. So could actually benefit the Warriors in terms of getting him on the cheap. Maybe you can still do that deal where you get Kuminga on a sign and trade him, spin him off to the Brooklyn Nets for somebody like Cam Johnson, and then you try to put together some sort of package that it would be enticing enough to the Celtics in order to pry Porzingis away for cheap. You tell me what you think down in the comments. I mean, I like the idea of Porzingis, but I think right now it depends on what it's going to cost to get him. Just like the Brook Lopez deal, where Brook Lopez is an intriguing free agent at 37 years old. I know when I made the video, a lot of people were like, he's old, but he's very different from Porzingis in that he does not miss time. He's only missed a couple of games over the past 2 seasons. He's extremely durable for 37. He also is, a very comparable three-point shooter, same sort of basketball IQ as Porzingis. Now, you don't get quite, the athleticism there, but Brook Lopez still is, an above average rim protector. He's still averaging a couple of blocks a game. He's been known, he's a former defensive player of the year. I think that Brook Lopez can make more sense if you can get him in on something like the vet minimum. If you're not spending that much money and you take a year-long flyer on Brook Lopez, could just make more sense and give the Warriors a lot more flexibility to fill other holes in the roster. You're talking about bringing Porzingis in here, eating up $30 million of the cap. I mean, this just doesn't necessarily make sense at all for the Warriors. It's a very intriguing fit basketball-wise. Salary cap-wise, I don't think it makes sense for the Warriors right now, and there are other holes that they have to fill in this lineup. Steven Adams is an interesting fit here as well, although he does things completely opposite of Porzingis. He's going to be your stationary, primary paint defensive anchor there, maybe coming off the bench. I don't know. You tell me what you think. Kristaps Porzingis, does that get you excited, or are you holding out for Giannis, or do you look for the Warriors to make smaller moves? You tell me down in the comments, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Peace.